Okay.
According to NBC News, former NBA player Delonte West was spotted screaming profanities while holding an open can of Ice House beer and an open bottle of mango vodka. Okay. Police said he started to walk away while screaming, and they ordered him to stop. But when he refused, they commanded him to put the alcohol on the sidewalk. Now, the officers tried to put him in the back of a patrol car, but he was belligerent and continued to scream profanities and obscure rants. Now, West is facing charges of resisting an officer without violence, disorderly intoxication, and having an open container. I thought Delonte West was getting better when Mark Cuban intervened. What do you think is going on with Delonte? This is sad.
So you guys know I've shared with you guys in the past my brother's struggles with mental health. He's manic depressive, schizophrenic. And what I know about mental health is that it requires long-term and in some cases lifelong treatment. And I don't want to put any type of blame on Mark Cuban because it's not Mark Cuban's responsibility to take care of Delonte West. But it goes to show that a lot of the support that he was getting from the Mark Cubans and his teammates was performative at best. You know what I'm saying? Because on one token, Mark Cuban was posting pictures of him horseback riding, and supposedly it was like, Delonte West is fixed, and I'm the one that fixed him. And soon as the media coverage went away, they released that man back to the doggone streets, and now this is what's happening. Now, Delonte, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know what your relation is to Florida, but Florida, we got enough of our own mess down here. Carry your ass back to wherever you was cutting up at before, because we got enough crazies down here in Florida. But this is unfortunate, and I would like to see the next Mark Cuban or whoever get involved, get this man in a long-term treatment, not boarding house, halfway house situation. Like that's where my brother is currently. He's in a halfway house situation where based on how well they're doing, it gives them certain amount of freedoms, but he has to be back every day at a certain time. They give him his medicine, they ration his money, they make sure he eats. And I think that that's the type of care that Delonte West needs.
What do you think?
This is really, really sad, but I'm gonna have to come to Mark Cuban's defense right here. You know, Mark Cuban actually, of all of the teams that he played for, was the one that stepped up to the plate to offer this man help because he ran into him panhandling at a gas station. So big up to Mark Cuban. And it wasn't that after he was fixed, Q, that Mark Cuban let him go. Remember, he went to the halfway house, was doing extremely well. He did so well that after he got out, he worked at the halfway house. So they gave him a job so that he would stay connected, so that he would stay on track. And what happened was he went back to using drugs. And as you know, in these halfway houses or in these treatment centers, if you do not follow the rules, you have to go. So what he found himself on the other side of that was back down in the state of Florida, panhandling. And this is just really sad. This man went from being a first round draft pick, picked at number 4 in 2004, to 2008, having one of the largest contracts of his career around, if I'm not mistaken, $13 million, to being all the way on Skid Row and being homeless. So I just think that mental health with professional athletes have to become a new interest for the league in the NBA, because it's happening across the board, and it's more than just Delonte West.
I want to know where all the people are that he bought houses for, cars, that was popping bottles with him in the club. Mm-hmm. I want to know where those people are.
Well, you know, he bought a house for his mother. He bought a house for his father. He bought both of them homes. But during the deal is when you have a drug addiction, that lifestyle, he said it was the lifestyle that pushed him over the edge and made him bipolar when he was diagnosed in 2008. Now, the interesting thing here is, Q, I don't know if you two know, but in 2011, when the walkout on the NBA happened, he applied for a job at Home Depot and actually worked as a sales clerk at a furniture store, because that's how bad he was burning through his money and his cash.
Well, I do agree with you, Al. I don't think we can blame Mark Cuban, because at least he did try. I think once you get to a certain level, no one can help if you don't want to be helped. And Q, you probably have exhausted yourself trying to help, and if they don't want to, then there's nothing anyone else can make them do. There's probably a lot of people that were in his life benefited, but doesn't that happen in all fields?
Here's one thing that I want to point out with mental illness, because people think that it's a battle of will. It's not about wanting.
No.
Their mind is so bad.
Right.
Listen, nobody wakes up and says, I want to smell of urine, feces, be in the hot sun, stand on the side of the expressway, jiggling a cup for 75 cents change. That is not a choice. Nobody wakes up and says they want to do that. Their mind is bad. And I know with my particular brother, it got, because for the longest while, we treated him like that. Oh, you don't want to do nothing. You lazy. You don't want to get a job, until we better got an understanding of what it is. And I physically had to go to the courts and get my brother's rights taken away from him in order to get him the type of help that he needs. And it feels as if Delonte needs the same thing, and that he needs to be given a state caseworker to manage him on a daily basis, long term.
I'm gonna say this before we go to commercial. I think there's a lot of athletes and people that are functioning in society at a high level of athleticism or even other fields, and they're successful, they're making money. So people overlook, I'm sure there was a lot of signs, but people just overlooked it because he was a talented shooter. And that's that, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of football players that some of the girls tell me stories about the CTE and the crazy things going on. But as long as they're putting those points up and making that money, no one checks them and no one forces them into getting help. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We have